All right. Boo, 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 boo. Joe, welcome to the show. We'll let a few people get in.
Yeah,
Won't have anything super crazy scheduled for tonight, Joe. We're just gonna do a mock draft here. We've been talking, and I said, Joe, why not, get you over to the channel, and we could kind of, do something cool. It's been some news, obviously, that we'll hit. Um, I just got back in town, Joe. I've been sending you videos. Here come the commenters, the good people, Joe. The people
uh,
that me and you do this for.
yeah, absolutely. Good to see everybody out there live in effect. Thanks for joining us.
Do y'all see Joe Rod on Foots's channel? Do y'all see it? Do you guys believe it? It's real. Do you see it? Do you believe it? There it is, JP. Joe times Foots. And so
Yeah,
me and Joe, we've kind of been like talking, and we're gonna hit a few comments. We're gonna let this thing, build a little bit, because it's a lot to talk about, guys. I mean, it's a lot to talk about. Yeah, we'll get to Caleb Farley. Uh, we'll get to we'll get to a lot. And then we're gonna do a live mock draft, y'all. Have you guys been keeping up with March Madness? Uh, you been keeping up with March Madness, Joe?
I haven't, man. I haven't watched a single thing. I just been seeing some of the upsets, like the highlights. But this year, I don't know. I haven't had any interest in it, like I usually do.
Understood, Joe. I think it's one of those things where it's like with me, I'm a young dad, meaning like not a young dad, I'm a dad of a young child. So it's kind of like for me, it's like I'll get to it when I get to it. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know. Yeah, it is. Life keeps you busy.
Yeah. Oh, Alabama smashing Maryland. Is that Maryland is that's my team. I don't know how they're doing. I guess I'll check the NCAA the bracket updater or whatever. Um Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, Joe. It's like, and then like it's kind of weird. Like I heard there was a team that got disqualified, VCU, because of COVID. You like, I'm not. Was it VCU? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's not good. What round are they in right now? Are they in the 16 yet?
Yeah, somebody let me know what's going on as far as what's up, young AK? What's up, homie? Um, yeah, somebody let me and Joe know like what's going on as far as what round the brackets and all that. I've been so locked in. Somebody just said it too, Joe. I've been so locked in with draft and Cowboys news. I haven't had a chance to keep up with like any other sports. Um
There's a lot of good draft nuggets coming out. Everybody's kind of concentrating on free agency, but some of this draft stuff that's sneaking out is really juicy stuff. So I'm staying on top of it, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see what the Cowboys scouting department, Will McClay, and these guys are doing right now. You know what I
it's
mean?
it's crazy. You know what, Joe? Let's just dive right in. Enough small talk. So I want to first ask you, Joe. Yo, Donnell, thank you for the super chat. Feel free to ask
Darnell,
any questions. Donnell, that's my homie. You
yes,
guys make sure you guys hit up the super chat. So a lot of developments over the weekend, Joe. Keanu Neal is a Cowboy. I want to get your thoughts on that. Then we're gonna do this live mock. Me and you, we're just gonna dive into the war room. We've covered
yeah,
a
let's
lot of
do it.
players, but I wanted to get your mindset on how Dallas may attack this draft, and we'll do that together. But first, Joe, I want to lead off with you telling us what the hell's going on with Caleb Farley. This is somebody who
Well,
Dallas has on their radar. Is he still on the radar? Is this a super red flag? You have Rosenhaus coming out making these proclamations, and Dallas has talked to him. I don't know what Calvin, whatever. Joe, talk to me about Caleb Farley. What's going on?
Yeah, so it looks like he had a back procedure. These guys, the agents, they want to make this as the impact as less as possible. So he's mentioning keywords like not invasive, is this and that. We heard the same thing with Leighton Van Der Esch and these kinds of things. So when you start hearing about surgeries on your back and your neck and these areas, it's not good. It's not good. You can't really sugarcoat it. And for Cowboys Nation, you don't want to go through this again as far as drafting a player who has this type of issue. Now, for the Cowboys foots, I think this would be a prime round 2 candidate if if he happens to fall there. That the Cowboys would absolutely probably think about doing that if he goes to round 2.
Dang, Joe, I never thought of that till just now. But when you think about what they did with Jalen,
Yeah.
Sean Lee years before,
Mm-hmm.
can you think of any others, Joe, who had injury issues?
Not injury, but it's kind of like you roll the dice round, like the
Yeah,
injuries, off-field issue, Randy Gregory, these types of things. Like, yeah,
yeah.
it would be the perfect. It probably would be him if he goes that long, which he might.
I think it's just weird that Farley, you didn't play this year. I
Yeah,
already had questions
yeah.
about his tape. Shout out to everybody joining. We're talking Caleb Farley right now. I had questions about his tape, Joe. I was just like, I don't know, man. At 10, like that 10, and we'll talk about this when we get to the mock draft and we really dive in and do this mock. But
Yeah.
I had questions about Farley's tape to begin with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now you mean to tell me that you sat a year, you're still not working out. That's not good. Like, I don't feel like that's good. People
No.
will say, well, hey, it's okay, or I don't know, Joe. People, there's gonna be that group of people that say, hey, you know, there's gonna be that group of people who will justify, hey,
Oh
we
yeah,
can make Farley work.
absolutely.
He'll be ready to go. Rosenhaus put out something, but it's just like, to me, I don't know, man.
Scratch that off the list. For me, I scratched them off the list. You
He's
know what I
off.
mean? It's definitely off the list and at number 10, and I don't even know about first round. You know what I mean? Is he going to
Nah,
be ready for the start of the season? Is he going to be on pup? What's you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to deal
yeah.
with all that mess. We don't have time for that.
Hey, Joe, that's why I love it. Joe is you get a certain reality, and I'm gonna tell you, me and Joe been doing this a long time when it comes to the draft, and I mean, I remember me and Joe covering Buda Baker. Seriously, like,
Yeah.
so I guess we say that to say, like, we're not gonna fluff these guys because there are people out here who love everybody and they're
Hmm.
fans of all. No, 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 no. We're gonna give it to you guys straight. That's what you get with us. Joe, the Cowboys go out, they grab Keanu Neal, somebody who maybe me and you weren't on the same page at first, and that's good. It gives a little tension here. I was uber excited. You were kind of, let's wait and see. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, I still am, and for everybody that we've added, I don't want to fall into what happened last year. We're like, oh, Don Terry Poe, Clinton Dix, and then they come out and they're just nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to fall into that trap again. So, but I will say Keanu Neal. I think he is a better free agent than the guys that we brought in last year. So I've warmed up to it. I can see the fit there. Talking about maybe putting him at weak linebacker. That's your Sean Lee replacement right off the bat. That's good. You know what I mean? But the injury history, that kind of concerns me a little bit. But that was about a year and a half ago already. Behind him now, he played 2020 relatively good, had good production. So I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm all for it. I gave him an A in my free agency grade. So I'm down with it.
So, to me, Joe, if he's at linebacker, I think it's a great place for
Yeah.
him. I think there's times on film where you do see him out of place in coverage. But I think everybody saw safety Keanu Neal picked up and they freaked out. We have
Mhm.
Donovan Wilson. We could draft a safety. I don't think this changes your plans on the back end. I don't. I think
Yeah.
it gives you a little bit more flexibility
Mhm.
if you want to bail. And here's the thing about bailing. Even when we do this mock draft tonight, you got to have a bail partner, dog. Like, you got to understand this, okay? 10 is a weird place to draft. 1 through 6 is like sweet spot for trade partners. If you're the Giants and you want to bail and there's somebody coming up to get, one of the stud receivers or one of the stud linemen or even a quarterback if they start to slip. Because you're going to have, how many quarterbacks, Joe? Mac, and North Dakota State kid, obviously, the two big name, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, and then Wilson. So I have 5 going top 10, Joe.
I think for sure if for sure top 15, I would think at the minimum. You know what I mean? So yeah, be a lot of them there.
And that, so I guess when I say that, Joe, I guess my thinking is just like, if you think a lot of fans want to trade back, you have to have somebody to trade back with.
Yeah, you gotta have two to tango. You gotta have a dance partner, right?
Yeah, you need to have a dance partner. So anyway, I just say that to say, like, 10 is very tricky. And like I said, I don't think this really changes the switching back to Keanu Neal. I don't think that when you think about Keanu Neal, I don't think that it changes much. The only thing that I will possibly say is maybe Dallas says, hey, because I went grading Keanu Neal and I watched some film and I watched him more. I always knew he was physical, but he's very physical. And so he does add an attitude. Now you have him, Donovan Wilson in that back end or on that defense, rather. I think that it does add an attitude to this defense that me and you, Joe, it's been times we've just said this team's just soft, man. Like, it's just like this team just has, for lack of a better word, this team has no thugs, like, on the field. There's no thugs on this team. It's all, Jerry's go to play golf with Jerry.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude.
Too many Boy Scouts.
Yeah, that was the Garrett's thing. That was definitely a Garrett production.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, rather. Yeah, Maryland did get mollywopped. All right, here we go, Joe. Guys, we're gonna start this mock. This is an experiment. You guys kind of know I'm new to the live stream game, so even if my Wi-Fi is being janky, I'm sorry, y'all. Me and Joe just trying to get y'all good content. Oh, Joe, do you want to talk about Basham for a second? Before we go into this mock draft, because somebody just brought Basham up, and I think I actually like that pickup as well. I think he could be like a Jeremy Missy type, to where it's like, isn't the name that everybody thought he, like, super big name, but it gives you some depth at DN. I'm about 90% sure that Dallas won't draft a DN in the first 2 rounds. I don't think that was on their radar. So I think he gives you some depth. I think he kind of does what Dallas wants to do as far as being able to play the run and stuff. What do you think about Basham?
Well, coming out of college, the Cowboys had interest in him during the draft process. Terrell Basham. So, and I think it's his brother or cousin, Carlo. What is it? The other Basham. He's coming out this year's draft. They're related, right? So,
right.
They had the bloodlines, but he kind of bounced around from. What was it? I think he started out with the Colts.
He got drafted by the Colts.
Yeah, I got drafted by the Colts. Ended up with the Jets. So it's kind of one of those type of pickups that the Cowboys do. It's kind of like a reclamation project to see if you can get some of that out of him. What they thought of him during the draft process. If they can get that out of him, they can get some production out of him. I don't expect him to be a 10+ sack person, but if you can get like 5 in rotation, because that's what the Cowboys are going to do. I mean, they always do it. No matter who the coordinator is, they like that. That's kind of what their philosophy is from the front office. So they like the rotational guys. So I'm for it. We'll see what he does. Like, I got to see it. And for all these guys, we'll know what they are week 1. Don't go for the paper and camp hype, because it's going to happen.
So I think Joe does a great job of warning us about guys. Dang, my I gotta get my Wi-Fi cleaner, Joe. You look clean. I look like a freaking Lego. It's all good. The content is there, baby. So I think Joe does a great job of warning us about camp hype, like you said, and guys who I think that's the quality that you get. What happens is around this time of year, um, a lot of folks get what's the word, Joe? They get really antsy and hyper. Oh, this guy's gonna come and do this, just like how it was last year with Dante Poe when you saw these videos going up about Poe. When the reality is he just couldn't play.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it showed, and there was a reason why he was on his third team or whatever, and it's probably a reason why he's on his way out the league.
Yeah.
So I guess I just say that to say, like, with Basham, it's low ceiling, high floor type deal.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he is.
don't expect him, and by no sense of the imagination, don't expect Basham to come in and, like you said, Joe, be a guy who's going to, give you, double digit sacks. Just stop. That's, but if you can get maybe 6 sacks out of him and a bunch of tackles on second downs, well, maybe you're doing good. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Joe, let's get this mock started here. I'm going to share my screen. And this is completely unrehearsed. It's just me and Joe going live. We're doing a 3-round. So hopefully you guys can see it. Joe, can you see the screen here?
Yeah, looks clean. I can see everything.
All right, nice. So
what are we using? We're using Pro Football Network, or which simulator are you using?
I think we're using the Draft Network.
Draft Network. Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna use the Draft Network, Joe. Yeah, they do a decent job. It's not like the best, but it's just like we'll kind of know some of these may not be realistic, guys. So don't kill us if it's not perfect. But again, we're gonna talk through it. Me and Joe, again, this is not rehearsed, so we didn't want it to be fluff. And nope, we're gonna talk. All right, so we're starting the draft now. Here we go. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence goes 1. Sewell goes 3. All right. Let's see. Eagles on the clock. Pick 6. These simulators move, man, don't they? All right. Certain.
There goes
Wow.
Warren.
There goes Horn. Interesting. Okay. Now in this case, now I doubt that this will happen, but crazier things have happened.
Well, you kind of saw it last year, Foots, with some of the cornerbacks. They kind of do go higher than what people think. You know what I mean? Like some the guys from last year, AJ Terrell, some of these other guys, I thought they went higher than what they were going to go. I knew they would be first rounders, so we could see that again this year. It's a premium position, cornerback.
Totally. And it depends on how these guys are rated. I know early on in the process, it was like, who is J.C. Horn? Now it's starting to be, J.C. Horn is my guy. And I was like, okay, cool. This is very interesting. Joe, is there any way that the Jets pass on a quarterback?
I mean, I personally, I like the moves that Saleh is doing over there.
I think he's a great football mind.
What's his name? Saleh or Salah?
Salah.
Yeah, I like the moves that they're doing. He's bringing in defenders. I think he's gonna fix that locker room. I think they're gonna have a better, plan. So, but quarterback, it's possible that they don't. Maybe they can get something out of Darnold. But
so Joe, this is the dialogue that we wanted, buddy. We got the chat box going crazy. I love it. Let's get crazy, Joe. Let's argue. All right, so chat box is saying Slater. I will be completely honest with you. Okay, I don't want to see her hands. I want to see football here. If this were the situation, and Justin Fields, let me get this ad out of here. If this were the situation, okay, I would be. It would. I would listen to calls. I would, Joe. Now you have a trade partner.
This actually is a very interesting uh, first couple of picks. You know what I mean?
I would listen to calls. I would say, hey, who wants Justin Fields? Is Washington coming up, Joe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They just got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a walking interception. They're excited. Great for them, Joe. He
Bears,
stinks. Yeah. Are the
Chicago.
Bears pushing up? Okay. Does New
Mm,
England go?
yeah, there you go, New England.
Okay. How does San Francisco feel about Jimmy Garoppolo?
Right.
Looks like the Giants bailed. So you guys see how things can start to get weird. Devontae Smith is still hanging around, which I was telling a buddy today. I was like, well, you know, I really and truthfully, I'm not a big Devontae Smith fan. I like him. I don't get the first round hype with him being that small. People will say, oh, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, to me, it's one of those things, Joe, to where if you give me Jamar Chase all day. He's a dude. He's a true X. I'm not drafting a 170-pound receiver, asking him to go catch slants, asking him to run over the middle, because in the league it's just different. But anyway, we're not in the receiver market. Right now, Joe, what are you feeling? To me, it's no-brainer with what we just did with Neal. I'm going to go Rashawn Slater. How do you feel, Joe?
Yeah, that's who I would take. I would take Rashawn Slater. I wouldn't even
Okay.
think twice about it. I wouldn't want to trade out of that. You know what I mean? If I'm sitting there at 10 and he's there, I'm gonna get calls, but I'm not trading away from Rashawn Slater. I'm taking that guy.
Okay, let's see what the slap box. I mean, what the slap box, what the chat box is talking about. San Fran all day. Slater is built like Terrence Steele. I don't know about that, but it looks like people are 100% on Slater. Farley 100% athletic and tough. Oh, we got a Farley in there, Joe. Nah, we're gonna pass on Farley. He's not ready to play football, so we're good on Farley, Joe.
Yeah. I'm not taking
All right,
Farley.
chat box. You guys are tapped in with me and Joe. We're gonna go Rashawn Slater, and guess what? If Tyron Smith is good, he'll play guard, and we'll run the ball. That's how we're gonna draft, Joe. We're gonna do the right thing by this team. We're not gonna get cute, because with the Rashawn Slater pick, no, he won't sell a bunch of jerseys, but he's gonna keep the person that does sell jerseys and Dak Prescott clean. You could have bailed it. Now, if I'm gonna tell you right now, if Mac Jones is there, I'm listening to calls, Joe. That's just me. If Mac Jones is there, realistically, I don't see Justin Fields being there, Joe. But if Mac Jones is there, I'm listening to calls. What do you think about that, Joe? This is real life now.
Yeah, it's well, it kind of depends. I think if Rashawn is still there, that's hard to walk away from. So,
Okay.
but
And see, that's what I wanted, Joe. That's
yeah,
that dialogue. Because so you're going with, you have Rashawn Slater, and I do too, Joe. I'm just picking your brain now. All right. You have Rashawn Slater as a possible Hall of Famer. That's how you're grading him. That's the scale you're grading him on.
yeah, and you don't expect the Cowboys to be this at drafting in the top 10, hopefully anymore. So while you're here, get that premium offensive lineman. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to happen again. If you're going to see success, which we hope we do, if you're looking for a future replacement plan, it's not going to happen in the next couple of years, drafting late in the first round. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Joe. And I think it's even, I'll even say this. I think it was cool. You got wiped out with Surtain. You got wiped out. So that's off the board. You didn't have to get cute with that. And then watch this. Some people, me and you, we've always talked about how we value positions, certain positions. Corner gets valued higher, tackle. But some people have quarterback, corner, tackle as their top three position groups, right, Joe?
Yeah.
To me, I'm going to go tackle over corner, but I can see why people will want good DB play in a league, in a passing league. And if they have those players rated highly, I could see why they might do that, Joe. Um, I'll say this. I'm going to keep Dak's blindside clean for the 10 year of
Yeah,
his career.
that's another part of it, right? Like you invested 4 years, a big money position, so you need to protect them. And the other thing too, Foots, is now with Farley having this back issue, he's gonna drop like a 10-ton hammer. These other cornerbacks are now gonna move up. I could see that happening. I could see Sertan and J.C. Horn, and honestly, I could see Greg Newsome come into the picture now. I think you're gonna see him elevate, move up boards.
Absolutely. Ooh, Joe, we got some heat still on the board now. All right, so just early on, I see Richie Grant still hanging around. Maybe he was forgotten about. If he's there on draft day at 44, I'm making a pick, and it's not even close. But let's talk about it for a second, Joe. I like Ronnie Perkins. I know that the Cowboys won't draft a DM, but I still like the player. Alex Leatherwood. If we needed a center, Joe, man.
I like Leatherwood in the interior. I don't like him as a tackle, but put him as a
A
guard
guard,
or
center.
center. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh my God, Joe. I would. That dude is a mauler, but like you said, I don't like him. Okay, the live is going up, Joe. The live is going up. We got good numbers in here, man. I'm not mad at it. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining the live. We're just talking through. Yes, April. That's kind of like the news of the day. I don't know if you guys have been following Joe, but he's been right on it, man. Farley's back is not good. And to me, stay away, Dallas. Just stay away. You don't like the back, stay away from Farley. Go draft one of these corners. All right, Joe. I see Asante Samuel's on the board. All right, so Joe, it's really three players for me. It's Richie Grant. I'm not as big on Elijah Molden, as I am like on Asante Samuels. Let's go 4 players, Joe, and let's talk about them. Let's go Jabril Cox. I like Jabril a lot. Let's go Asante Samuels. Dallas may have an issue with the height, but the play aggression and the swagger is outstanding, Joe. It's really outstanding.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Let's go. Let's talk about. I gave you Richie. I gave you Jabril. I gave you Asante. I'm not that high on Molden. He's cool, but I'm cool on him. I'm not high on Melifonwu's interesting, Joe. And Tyson Campbell, I'm cool on him. And I don't really see, I'm staying away from Sean Wade. He stunk this year. Yeah. Let's talk Paulson Adebo, because I have a draft crush on Paulson Adebo. So let's talk Paulson Adebo. Let's go Richie Grant. Let's go Asante Samuel. And let's go Jabril Cox. Out of those 4, Joe, who do you like? What's the pick here?
So I think before we have that, the question would be: are we done adding anybody at cornerback? Are they gonna do Richard Sherman? I know some people, he's still out there. Some people are for him. I know you and I are kind of like he's kind of done, right? But
right.
If we're sitting here with just Anthony Brown, if you had to play a game today, Foots, right? You're looking at Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs. So I don't know if I like that combination. So it almost feels like you have to come away with the cornerback, right? In round 2, maybe 3. You might be able to stretch it to round 3, but you're kind of playing with fire there, right? So, but the Cowboys have done that. They got Cheeto and what was it, Jordan Lewis. They double dip back-to-back rounds. Yeah. So you could do it. You could stretch it to the 3rd round, but for me, if we're talking Samuel, man, as much as I love Richie Grant, I don't know if the Cowboys are going to make that move. They need to. They need to. Like if it were me, I probably would. But then you're starting to you're going to have to get a cornerback, probably 3rd round. You know what I mean?
Okay. So now we got some tension in the draft room, Joe, and I love it. So
what's your thoughts, Foots?
I can't pass on Grant. It sucks because he can play free. He's what we Joe. He's what we've like. He's not corner convert to safety guy. He is
Yeah.
a safety. That's a safety, true and through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a thug on the field. He's a thug. He's not a Boy Scout. He's not going hiking and picking berries.
Yeah.
He's not. He's going to knock somebody out, and he can cover, and he has great instincts, and he's smart, and he plays with swag, and he'll lead the team in tackles. A bad team, he can play in the box, and he can run. But Joe, your cornerback talk it interests me for a couple of reasons, and I wish Paulson Adebo was hanging around the third because he would be my pick. And I would feel good about it because I like Paul Debo. It's a little rich for me. He's rich for me in the second, but you may if you like the player because he has some ball production now, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Dallas would mess with Asante Samuel, and I hate it because me and you are for shorter players, Joe.
Yeah, they're I want football players. Like I did a mock draft on looking at these anti-metric players, right? And he was one of my guys, Asante Samuel, and they had their pro day today in Florida State, and he had the numbers that we thought he would. You know what I mean?
All right, Joe. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna draft Richie Grant.
Let's do it. Let's see how this plays out.
All right, let's see how this plays out. Keeping in mind that we know that we need a corner somewhere in this draft.
And the other thing too, Foots, is just because we're bringing in Neal and possibly Hooker or KZ, they're probably going to be on short-term deals. So you're still gonna need a safety there to compete. And who knows? Are these safeties? These guys, are they going to be this year's Clinton Dixes? Because they have name recognition. Hooker does, KZ, right? So we need to keep that in mind. So
real quick, I was very high, and people are screaming Kelvin Joseph. I'm not a fan. I'll just be honest. I think Dallas has to stay away from players. I know you guys, me and Vox go back and forth about Joseph. I know you guys are just, we do. Because I'll be honest, I don't want somebody who's getting kicked off teams, and I just don't want to bring in Janoris Jenkins, man. Like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I want guys who are all about ball. I don't want to have to, because what happens when you give certain players money? It elevates their BS. I'm good. Like, I know that Kelvin Joseph can play and all that type of stuff, but I'm cool. Like, yeah, exactly. Gun under the seat guy. So people are always going to give me Marcus Peters, and that's fine. I just think that I don't know how this organization, we got to think about this not, where was Marcus Peters drafted? Joe, I know he was in Kansas City for a while.
Yeah,
KC drafted him. Did Kansas City draft Marcus Peters?
No, I think wasn't it. Oh man, I already forgot. He bounced around for a little bit. I feel like he was a hot potato traded
Who drafted Marcus Peters? Yeah, I think the Chiefs. Hold on, let me see. Anyway, yeah, okay. So the Chiefs did. Yeah, that's right. He's been on multiple teams. KC, the Rams, and then the Ravens. So he's been, and I'm pretty sure there's reasons why. But anyway.
But hey, Foot, before we make the pick, go ahead and continue. Go ahead, continue, man.
Okay. What you got, Joe?
I was gonna say that it's possible that you could get the Mike McCarthy influence in the draft room, right? He is the head coach. A lot of people are like Quinn, but Mike McCarthy has a big say in this as well. He did draft Jari Alexander. He was a 5'10" cornerback, and he is a hell of a cornerback. You know what I mean? So you look at the measurables; they're similar to what Asante Samuel's. Maybe Mike McCarthy says, "Hey, I've coached a player like this with these measurables. He can play on the outside and he can play good. So I really, if they're gonna move away from what they typically do, 6 foot and above, it might take Mike McCarthy's experience with a smaller cornerback to push that forward.
All right, you know what? The Cowboys are gonna bring in Malik Hooker. I'm in love with Richie Grant, but I'm gonna do something different. Okay, we're gonna draft Asante Samuel Jr. You know why, Joe? The film is excellent. It is. Like the only reason why I don't have him on my Cowboys board per se is because of Dallas's ability to say that they won't draft players with a certain measurable. You know
Right.
that, Joe.
Yeah.
Like we sat and watched them pass on Budda Baker, and Budda Baker's a Pro Bowler. Like he jumped off my screen the same way Samuel does. Asante Samuel jumps off my screen as a player. He does.
Yeah.
Feisty, good hips, can run. The same measurables as Jair. So you know what? Let's take him, Joe. Now we have cornerback depth. Now we're clean, and Malik Hooker serves as our free. Let's do it. Asante Samuel's a Cowboy. All right. Now we draft. Now the draft starts. Somebody throw us a super chat for that, man.
Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Pound the like button on this. This is a great conversation, Foots and I. I love this. I love this work, Foots. This is fun already.
Oh my God, I'm gonna listen back to it on my way to work. The thing I like about Samuel too, he's a dog. Somebody just said it in the chat, and I love it. He's a dog.
Yeah. He's a dog. He can play on the outside. That's where they would put him. That's where he makes plays. You know. He's a great player. I really could see if McCarthy's going to speak on that, he could move that forward.
Well, he jumps off our screen, Joe.
Yeah, he does. And if the draft stopped here through 2 rounds, you already made this team a whole lot better. You got Slater in the round 1. You have somebody really good, a dog opposite of Trayvon Diggs.
And so I would also say too, Joe, as much as like Foots is safety secondary guy, me and you have been on that, right?
You are.
You're
the DB god. You're Foots is the DB god. I'm serious. Like all the guys, the Foots has always been the number 1 DB person.
That means a lot, bro. I appreciate you. Nah. I'm gonna say this, Joe. I'm gonna say this. Understand this, Joe. I feel better. Like, I love safety, but I feel better knowing that I have 4 corners that can play, knowing injury is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, knowing all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for the super chat there. If we don't take Hooker, if we take Hooker, I don't mind passing on Grant. I agree. It looks like they are gonna. If we get Casey in here, DeMonte Casey, if we get Casey in here, I don't mind on passing Grant. It's gonna suck to see him playing somewhere else, but that's the draft. That's why you cover these guys, man. But Joe, thank you for the love.
Yeah, absolutely, Foots. And you know, it's just something that the Cowboys keep doing until they prove us differently. They're going to keep passing on defensive tackles early. They're going to keep passing on safeties early. So, you know what I mean? And until they change that, it's probably going to happen. But maybe we'll get surprised. But I love the Asante Samuel pick. I love that all the way.
I love it as well. Okay, Joe. So here we are sitting in the 3rd round, and Richie Grant is still there. Realistically, that's not going to happen. So some of these portals get weird. Now, the 2nd round was real, I feel like. With all the talent being pushed up, there's been guys being pushed up out of nowhere. I'll give you an example. The kid Quentin Miners, I've been hearing late 1st round with him, Joe. Some teams like him. The kid that blew up the Senior Bowl because of just how hard it is to get solid O-line play, that guys really like him. So I'll be honest. I don't see Richie Grant being available in the 3rd when we drafted pick 75. So do we not make the pick, Joe, or do we look elsewhere?
I would just pretend that that's not there, and then let's look at the other guys that are there.
Now, where I have Paulson Adebo in the third, Joe. That's where I had him. That was my sweet spot for him because of him not playing last year, and then some of the what's the word? It's like people give people. I'm not gonna say people give Paulson Adebo a bad rap, Joe, but it's one of those things to where it's like, okay, with Adebo, you look and you say there's times where his awareness could be a little better, but the length and the cover three ability. So even doubling down makes a lot of sense. Now here's a guy, Andre Cisco, who could possibly be there. Let me find some more names, Joe, and we'll make this pick here. We'll make another one. We'll call it a night. You got anybody you looking at, Joe, as I scroll?
Let's see.
Did Dylan Moses do anything for you? He's kind of been a forgotten linebacker because he doesn't have those traits as some of the other guys.
Yeah.
But I think he's a good player.
What's the chat room want? What's everybody in the chat room thinking?
Yeah. Chat, what you guys feeling, man? You guys talk to us. Nice.
So you got Slater.
You got Slater. Why is Leatherwood falling, Joe? I don't know. Leatherwood can play. These, I'm telling you, sometimes these modulators are really goofy. I have to go and see who's been drafted before him, but some of these guys aren't as good as Leatherwood. No.
Well, we're gonna see Alabama's pro days this week, so that's gonna be a fun one to check out. Cowboys, they're gonna be there, so
yeah,
you can pretty much count that they're gonna look at all these guys that are there. Leatherwood, the receivers. You never know. If Waddle's there, if Devontae Smith falls out of the first round, which you're starting to hear rumors about that. So you never know.
Joe, that's crazy. Shout out to that last super chat. Joe, I got into it with a buddy today. Like, we were really arguing because I told him, I think I said this in the beginning of the broadcast, dog. I just, like, with the receivers, if you're not special, I'm not taking you in the first round. Look at some of these guys that have flopped. Corey Davis. I mean, his teammate was in the second round. He's better.
Yeah.
The kid from Mississippi.
Yeah. God, what was his name?
Man, what's his name?
He's already forgotten.
Yeah, I know. No, he's good though, man. But I'm just saying, like, some of these first round receivers. I mean, Henry Ruggs is exactly why I'm scared of Devonta Smith. I'm sorry, like, I just am. What's his name? AJ.
Yeah, you don't want
AJ
John
Brown.
Ross.
AJ Brown. That's his name. AJ Brown.
Yeah.
No, Mississippi. Yeah, John Ross. Oh my God.
That was really, yeah. That's what you don't want to draft. You don't want the next John Ross. You don't want the next Tavon Austin. And that's kind of the thing. Some of these little dudes, they don't translate. Tavon Austin, complete bust. John Ross, completely. Basically, Devontae Smith would have to buck the system. He would have to be that exception. You know what I'm saying? So there's some risk there with that pick.
Yeah, Marquise Brown. So people will give you Marquise Brown. The problem with Laquan Treadwell definitely bust. They call
That's
him
the guy. Yeah, Laquan Treadwell. Yeah, from Minnesota, dude. That was such a disaster.
It was awful, and I mean,
that was bad.
Yeah, it was just awful. And I mean, you guys got to understand the way that these. So to me, the way that these receivers are coming in, I'm waiting to the second round. I'm getting tackle. I'm getting linebacker. I'm getting what I need first. I'm not gonna just draft a receiver just because. And if you're not, Jamar Chase is different. The build, the run after the catch, and not what I'm saying. I had to really break this down to my buddy when I told him, when I said run after catch, he thought meaning that he run if a guy runs for a long touchdown. No, when I say run after the catch, when you look at Waddle, he breaks a tackle. It's very Tyreek Hill-esque. Lightning in a bottle quickness. Break tackle ability is real. He's physical, and he's bigger. He's thicker than Devonta Smith. When you look at Jamar Chase, he's a man. He's a dude. You could throw him a 9-ball. You could throw him a fade. You could throw him a slant, and he's going to throw corners off of him. Like, corners are too small for Jamar Chase. When you look at Pitts, the same way. He can go over the middle of the field, high point the ball. With Devontae Smith, and this is what you got to think about too with the Alabama players. When they don't have that support and cast around them, how do they look? That's what scares me about some of these guys. That's what I was thinking about even with Surtain. Like, dog, you're not going to have all 5 stars on your defense. It's different. Yeah.
So what you thinking here, Foots? You thinking another DB here? You thinking maybe linebacker or?
I'm liking your guy Nixon, Joe.
Oh, Davion Nixon, yeah, he's a good one.
If he's sitting there, I'd pick him, Joe. You sold me on him. All right, let's talk. Let's throw three players in the hat, Joe. Let's go Davion Nixon. Let's double down.
Carlos Basham is a good one too. Man,
that is a good one. Let's throw Carlos Basham in there. Okay, Richie Grant. We're gonna pretend that Richie Grant isn't there because that's not realistic. Chad Surratt, staying away. I'm good on him. Yeah. Not physical enough for this team. Quincy Roche interests me. I like that player a lot. And let's go. Let's think about doubling down at corner with Paulson Adebo. No, Joe. No. Running back could be interesting as well. Maybe a year from drafting Zeke's replacement. Got to think about that type stuff.
Hey, have you looked at Spencer Brown?
I have. Great player.
Yeah.
What do you think about him, Joe? You want to throw him in that mix?
It's interesting, if you start looking at some of these players, as far as like, do you still want to look? I mean, we did add Ty Nsekhe, right? Yeah. But it's a short-term deal. It's a 1-year deal. And you have, how do you feel about Terrence Steele? You know what I mean? I don't want to see him out there. You know what I mean? I Brandon Knight I actually like. You know what I mean?
Brandon Knight as well.
But I wonder if where would they think about taking a lineman? You know what I mean? You mentioned Leatherwood too, so could he be your replacement for Connor Williams at some point? Could he compete, knock him out? So there's a lot of good names here. This draft, there's going to be good players, for the first couple of rounds, which is really great for the Cowboys. Davion Nixon.
Yeah, he's looking like my pick, Joe. Our pick, excuse me. You sold me on him, Joe. He's the best. I think you don't know how Tristan Hill's going to respond. He plays the 3. And let's see if we can get one of these other linemen or another auxiliary pick with that other 3rd round pick. So you feeling good about Nixon, Joe?
Yeah, tackle for loss guy. He gets into the backfield. So that's what that means. When you look at the numbers and you watch the film on Davion Nixon, Iowa, and this is a program you and I like, right? First, we talk about some of these programs where they put out really good quality linemen, right? In Iowa is one of those programs. So Davion Nixon, even Chauncey Golston, the other Iowa lineman, he's good too. I think he might be an option later for the Cowboys if they don't get Nixon here. But I like the penetration. I think he can add some more moves as far as rushing the quarterback, but he's pretty athletic for that size, in my opinion. I like him.
Yeah, man. I'm liking our draft so far, Joe. We're gonna wrap up with this last pick 99. Joe, we covered a lot of information today, man. Wow.
It's fun. I mean, we could do this all night probably, but we'd be up until like midnight.
Dude, and the chat box is hanging right in there with us, man. Thank y'all all for the super chats. You guys, make sure you guys hit up Joe. Let me make sure I didn't miss any. If we take Hooker, okay, I got that one. Hey, Wise and Leatherwood. Hey, people will catch up to Leatherwood. Don't worry about that. Yeah, Nixon is nice. We could have went Basham, Wake Forest. He's a good player as well. But I just think that, Nixon is that was a good pickup there, Joe.
I wonder if Basham would really last to the 3rd round too. Honestly, I wonder if he would last there to the 3rd round. You think he would?
I don't, Joe. It's a couple guys that I was looking at. Richie Grant's not lasting to the 3rd round. Basham isn't lasting to the 3rd round. I don't even think Quincy Roche would last to the 3rd round. Do you know the craziest thing, Joe? And this is kind of off topic. The craziest thing has been the rise of Jalen Phillips, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was people talking about him as maybe a third, fourth round pick to where now that people have dug into the tape, he's
Mhm.
become a draft favorite that he could go in. He's comparable to the Watt brothers, just the way his length. He's a true 6'6" with great movement. Um,
Yeah.
Fair to say he's probably better than his teammate Gregory Rousseau. Has a very interesting
Yeah.
story. I encourage everybody to go check out Jalen Phillips, edge player from Miami. That team had a lot of talent on it.
Yeah, they
And
do. That's a fun team. Um, I like a lot of their players, and you're right. Phillips is moving up, and you see it every year. Players that are not really talked about early on, once it catches up to the mainstream media, these guys start moving up the draft boards, and he's a prime example of that. Foots, great call on that one.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay, guys. So I got a couple people here still in the fourth, and this is very realistic because safeties are your flavor of the month pick. Some people love them, some people hate them. But it seems like nobody can ever agree. We have Cisco here, who everybody just seems to have thrown away. I'm good. I still like Andre Cisco, and if he's sitting there at the end of the third round, he's worth taking a flyer on as somebody who can get better under the right coaching. And then everybody's favorite player, it seems like in the draft community, are Darius Washington. Um, Out of those two, Joe, Trey Sermon's still here, Joe. Would you take a flyer on a running back in the end of the third, a possible Zeke replacement, or is it too early? Because to me, I think that unfortunately, Cowboys fans, Zeke is about 2 years away, and then you're gonna move on.
Yeah, and maybe not even that. So the thing, okay, so we real quick on that foot. So the whole thing, just a few days, I think it was even like, was it yesterday? Like if they were going to pick up Jalen's option, some people thought they were going to get rid of Jalen. Maybe even Ezekiel might have been on a cut list. So just the fact that these conversations are starting to happen,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of feel like, okay, not this year, but maybe next year. So I think that's why the Cowboys are looking at some running backs. They're looking at Michael Carter. They're looking at Javonte. They're looking at both North Carolina guys, right?
Yeah.
And they've looked at another player, Shane Simpson. So they're looking at various running backs to throw in the mix. So you might have that next person. So it's possible. I maybe third would probably be too early for running back, but fourth I could see that. You have two fourths, so maybe there.
I I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on a guy. I'm serious, Joe. Um, you got to be prepared for anything. Injury could happen.
And that's how the
Zeke's
draft. That's how the draft always shakes out, right? First, I know a lot of people like defense, defense, defense. That's how, and that's not how it's gonna happen. They might throw in a receiver. They might throw in a tight end,
Yo,
right?
hey Joe, get ready, Cowboys fans. Like all we're gonna keep telling y'all is get ready, get ready, get ready. We're almost a month away, guys. Get ready. Like we're cruising up under a month. They're not gonna draft 10 defensive players. I'm sorry. Like it's just not gonna happen. If they
Yeah.
see value in certain picks, that's how they're gonna draft. That's how you should draft.
Hmm.
It's just the truth. It's the truth of it all.
It is. It is.
You know, if I'll be honest with you, if Kyle Pitts is staring at me at 10, it's gonna be hard to turn away from him. Like seeing him run his 40 today, seeing how he moves, watching the tape, it's hard. If Rashawn Slater's there, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Um, Hell, Joe brought up Waddle. Jerry could go down to Waddle's workout. I'm gonna tell you this: you better hope that Jerry Jones isn't in the building in Alabama.
Yeah.
You better hope that Steven. They could look at this guy running around in shorts and be like, man.
Hey, Foots, and Steven mentioned this several times in that press conference. You know, he mentioned keep an open mind, and to me, Foots, I feel like they've already mocked free agency, how this was going to shake out, and they're probably thinking ahead, like, you know what, guys, We might not go cornerback with this pick. This might be the best player available. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, they're not going to. It's not going to be what Dallas thinks. I mean, what Cowboys fans think, where you just draft,
Yeah.
10 defensive guys. It's not going to be that like at all. So I just want you guys to just be prepared so you don't. I wouldn't say get your feelings hurt, but so you don't, you know, yeah, for lack of better terms, so you don't get your feelings hurt. So that's definitely one that you need to be thinking about because it's a real thing. But for me here, Joe, I'm gonna go Darius Washington. If he's sitting there in the third, I think that helps us a lot. Um, and I think it's realistic because he's kind of like in that Buda Baker
Yeah.
mindset of, well, it would have to be Quinn and Mike McCarthy who stand on the table versus the scouts and Will Clay who
Yeah.
have the size and measurables. But I think they'll say the tape is good on this guy. He's physical. We can work with the player like that. There's
Yeah.
people who will argue me down and say, Joe, that he's better than his teammate. So what are your thoughts, Joe?
Well, the pro day was interesting because Ardarius had, I think he did. He kind of did show him up a little bit. Being 5'8", his vertical was better than the 6'2" Merrick. So that's something that now we did find out today that the Cowboys are meeting with Trevon Merrick. So the interest is through the roof there. They are looking
Yeah.
at that player hard and heavy. They need a safety. And just because we're adding guys here in free agency, it does not stop them from drafting a player like either one of these guys, right foot. So
Yeah.
you know what I love about our Darius is though, he can play free safety. He's got good snaps in the nickel, so I would love that. And that's kind of where I have him. I have him in the third. I know some people like him in the second, but I've seen him mocked anywhere from the second to the end of the fourth. So I think this is a sweet spot.
Yeah, I like Darius. I like his film a lot, man. I
Yeah,
do.
he's a good player.
I think he's a good player. I think there are safeties that are better. I think so. I would take Morrig over Darius Washington. I would, me personally. Think he has a better feel in the pass game.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah, I just think that when you watch him on film, he's not confused much. Not saying Darius is, but he's on the play a little quicker than Darius. But Darius Washington can play ball. So we're gonna make that the pick, Joe, and we're gonna wrap up our draft, and then we'll kind of recap and just kind of take a look at it, see what we would need to hit towards, what we would need to hit towards the end of this draft, see what we could have possibly done. I wouldn't say done better because that's how the draft works, and we go from there. So pick 10. I'm gonna take a picture of this and I'll put this in the description box. And I just think this was an awesome show, Joe.
absolutely. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to
totally,
everybody in the
though.
chat box. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
chat box kept it going, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for all the super chats. Y'all keep the super chats going. Hit up me on Cash App. Foots the King. You guys can just Cash App, man. Show some love. We don't go live as much as the other folks, but we want to start doing that more. Me and Joe said we want to make that pact to do that. 10, Joe, we went with Rashawn Slater. 44, we went Asante Samuel. I like this. I like pick 75. Davion Nixon, I feel good about that pick. At the middle of our defense in order.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Washington, pick 99. So obviously, Joe, we didn't hit the linebacker. I don't know. Maybe now we're looking at Keanu Neal being a guy who we depend on. Sean Lee's still in the fold. You're praying that Leighton Vander Esch is healthy. They haven't picked up his fifth-year option.
No.
Joe, all in all, what do you think about this draft?
It's a draft that if you go into the season, you have to play a game. I think you have good depth in what we've done with free agency, and you can bring these guys along. I think Asante Samuel is a week one starter. Rashawn Slater as well. You're gonna bump somebody off for Rashawn Slater, right? And Davion Nixon, he's better than Tristan Hill already. So I like that. I like the mix here of defenders. Stingy stout defenders. I mean, they're going to contribute. You know what I mean?
I think that if we walked away with this, Joe, first 2 days, I'd be extremely happy. Rashawn Slater kicks Connor Williams to the he just kicks him off a bridge. Um, if Tyron's still healthy, he kicks him off a bridge, Joe. We play power football. We're back to having a top 10 line in the league, right?
Yeah, and I just have a feeling that you will see Rashawn Slater play tackle for because Tyron won't play. He's not going to play more than I don't know what 14 games if you're lucky, 10 maybe. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. So Joe's been ahead of this, guys. He's been ahead of the curve. I mean, he's been on it like white on rice, y'all. He was. I swear to God, y'all. I swear to y'all. Me and Joe was on this. So Dak got drafted in 2016. Me and Joe started really hitting it hard in 2018, Joe. And I can honestly say Joe has been on board saying that Tyron Smith is going to let you down sooner or later. He's going to let you down. We love him.
yeah,
He's been with us since he was 19.
oh
We
yeah,
love. I mean, he's a pro. He
yeah.
is, man.
He's a
Like
Hall of Famer.
he's a
Hall
Hall
of
of Famer for
Famer,
sure, Joe.
possibly Ring of Honor. I mean, he's what you want in a player. You know, a franchise player, multi-contract player. But you know, he's beat
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I mean, totally. Oh, so Joe, somebody just asked me, "Footsie, you Bradley?" Oh, Vach, the goat is in here. Vach, the goat is in. All right. Yeah,
Macho,
Foot.
what's up, bro?
I am Bradley. That's people are like. I said that on my last video. They're like, "Your real name is Bradley?" Yes, that's my name, dog. That's me. You guys hit up the Cash App. Foot's the king, man. Y'all get off the air before I air this thing out. Hey, Voss said we're not allowed to talk about Tyron. Voss, now you know doggone well, okay? Vato, you the go, you know that, and you know O lineman, but he gonna lay down and like you said, he gonna go out. All right.
Yeah, he will.
The homie is going to go out. And see, I just think that even when he does go out, you kick Slater out. Now he can block Chase. Now it's like, I just don't want the Cowboys having to go into game plans going to games where the whole game plan has to change. Like, you play the Skins with Terrence Steele, your game plan has to change. Like, you can't even run certain stuff because of who's at
Yeah.
left tackle.
Yeah.
That's rough, Joe.
Yeah, Terrence Steele, if anything, I think that's what they brought in Ty Nsekhe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he's your swing guy, and you do have Brandon Knight, who I think is capable of playing right tackle as well. I just don't want to see Terrence Steele out there ever again, man.
Yeah.
To me, he's more of he still needs more development. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. So Voss said, so we're doing something right. Voss said he does have Slater as his that would be his pick as well. What happened with this mock Voss, I don't know if you jumped on late, but we got wiped out with corner actually, which Voss, we've talked about this for a while too. You and Joe have done stuff. We did the draft, the first draft link up, which was dope as hell.
Mm-hmm.
That was a minute ago. I would say this, Vach, people need to remember that tackle corner are both on the same plane as like what teams, how they rate them as far as their need and like how of importance. So you could get wiped out at corner. And if that's the case, that's great because I'll take Rashawn Slater every time. We said that, Joe, in recapping, we said that Asante Samuel was really good at football and we need really good football players. And so we added Asante Samuel, and I'm happy with that. The Nixon pick is the one that makes these top four picks great. Like the Nixon pick ties it all together, just like how last year our Oklahoma kid tied everything together. I feel like Nixon. Now nobody can say that we're not truthfully adding solid D linemen because Nixon could very well be a second round player. Like I have him as a top 50 player, but the way that things fall, he slipped to the third. It happens, you know.
Yeah.
Some people don't value D-line the same way that others do. You get what I'm saying? So, and then obviously our Darius Washington to wrap it up. Joe, I feel good. How about you, man?
Yeah, I think you can go out here, go feel good about going to a mini camp. You get the fan base excited, and you know, it's hopefully these guys can play Quinn's program. So I love the picks. You know, it fills a lot of holes, a lot of needs. You know, everybody wants defense. You check a lot of the boxes off here, Foots. I like these picks.
Totally, man. I just want to say real quick, Joe, plug yourself. Chat box, you guys have been great. We're gonna ball out of here in a second, but Joe, plug yourself. Plug what you got going on, man.
Yeah, first shout out to everybody in the chat box. Appreciate everybody that joined this live stream with Foots. I know he's getting this thing going. I love it. Hopefully we'll do more of this, Foots. But yeah, shout out to all you guys. Make sure you guys hit the pound button there, the like button for Foots, if you don't mind. But you guys, you can find me on YouTube, Cowboys blog. Just look me up there, and Twitter, Cowboys blog net. Hit me up. I'll follow back. Let's talk Cowboys.
Yeah, man. I would honestly say Joe is second to none when it comes to news, quality sources, digging deep. I mean, if it's film, I'm going to Vach. If it's Law does great film too. Law and Vach do great film. If it's news and just nuggets, I'm going to Joe Rodriguez, man. Cat mode, good perspective, clean quality work. And then obviously you have Sky Still, who's just a straight baller. Sky Still does just quality stuff. James, Big Game James, obviously the OGs like Shango, who doesn't get on as much because he's just such an OG. He doesn't have to. He can just get on when he wants.
Yeah.
Mark Holmes, everybody. Like, we're all in this community together. But I know draft season is when the underground kings like me, Vach, and Joe shine. This is when we shine because we will do the digging. And it's going to be people like you guys in the chat box who care about the draft. You guys are the fans that I want to talk to, not fair weather fans. Let's talk. Like, I love good discussion when it comes to the draft. I really, really do. You guys don't like a player, and for whatever reason, like somebody was challenging me on Devonta Smith about him and Stingley, and I said, well, hey, Devonta Smith got Stingley on one play. He got Stingley. It was like I think Stingley heard a inadvertent whistle. Something was goofy. But Stingley, I mean, hey, if you want to do that, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're going to do that. Jamar Chase destroyed Trevon Diggs, and Trevon Diggs came into the league. And so it's easy to kind of pick games where you know, whatever. But I say that to say I like the discussion. Like, that's what this is about. That's what draft season is about. And Joe hits it hard. Vach hits it hard. So anyway, thank you guys, man, for tonight. I'm gonna upload this, Joe, and chat box. Much love, Joe.
Yeah.
We're out.
Peace.
Peace. We riding with the underground, baby.